What's up? It's T Hill again. Like I said, I'm going to keep bringing these good shows for you. Topic of the night, remastering of old IPs. A lot of people say, no more remakes, leave those alone, no more sequels, just give us fresh IPs. And that's fine. New stuff is always cool. But there are some great IPs that were before, were really strong, and from my childhood, I really liked, and I wanted to hear what other people thought, because the technology nowadays is so strong that games that couldn't visually be fully represented would look spectacular. Or at least I think they would look spectacular, and maybe with some more up-to-date gameplay mechanics. So I'm going to get into a few of them. It's probably going to be a good 10, 12, maybe 13-minute video. Of course, always leave your comments at the end. I want to hear what you guys think. What IPs are we not seeing anymore? What sequels would you love to see? So I'm going to kick it off with one of my personal favorites, Legend of Dragoon. If you've never played it, go out. If you still have a PS1 or you've got a PlayStation Fatty, go out, pick yourself up Legend of Dragoon. It's like you're these, I don't want to ruin the story, but for people who haven't played it, you're like regular warriors in this world, like knights and swords and dragons and stuff like that. But you come across these orbs that allow you to transform into a dragoon, which you get these really sick armor with wings, and each one of them is representative of a different elemental dragon. So like there's a fire guy. The main guy, I think his name, it's been a while since I've played, is Dart. But then there's like a light dragon, there's an earth dragon, a wind dragon, water. So each one of them is just really sick. And for the time, the PlayStation 1, the FMVs, or if you don't know what that is, like the cinematics, looked spectacular. And I'm thinking, with the hardware we have nowadays, the actual gameplay could look as good, if not better than that. And there's so many design choices that this title would be spectacular for, especially if you look at like Star Ocean, the newer Star Ocean. The Last Hope, which I played not too long ago, was really fun, where it's not turn-based, which kind of lends itself to the Legend of Dragoon game, considering the combo system. As you level up, you can develop combos, and it's on timing. There's a little timing sensor. But I'm thinking, with the design choices that are out there nowadays, I mean, you could have a full-on like God of War style game, or just using God of War, but I mean a more interactive action type game. That game would have lent itself, and you could use design elements from like Zone of the Enders, where the flying mechanics, because they do have wings. The world is so immersive that if it was presented nowadays, it would be a stellar title. Sorry, my neighbor walking by, so I'm like, oh, okay, what's up? But check it out if you don't know about it. Tell me what you think. How a remake of that series would be. So that's a huge one. Another one for me, going way back for you guys who don't know. Phantasy Star 4. Oh my God, I love that game, and I think nowadays hardware, especially if you look at games like Mass Effect and how you can ride in I forgot what the vehicle you ride in Mass Effect is, or Halo, but having the ability to play with all those characters, especially if it was like 4 or 5 player co-op, or get away from, they need to leave that Phantasy Star online experience away. I think go back to that really cinematic type of experience. And I think a complete remastering of Phantasy Star 4 would be a huge jump off for Sega. I think it would just completely, if you don't know about that game, go find yourself a Sega Genesis, or I think they have remastered versions or remakes of it through like Genesis collections. But check out the game. It's old school, but there's like so much sci-fi, great characters, great story, really stylized. And just looking at that style and bringing it to today, it would just blow them away. If Sega were to do that, I think their presence in this generation will be a lot stronger. So check that game out. Another one for me, going into Capcom's roots, Breath of Fire. We need a real Breath of Fire jump off for this generation. You haven't seen it, and I'm wondering, did they just abandon it? I know their last Breath of Fire game was not really, the Dragon Quarter was not hot, but if you look at like Breath of Fire 3 and Breath of Fire 4, those are, I mean, even the whole series as a whole, I know it's kind of niche game series, but it has a strong cult following, and I think a lot of these classic IPs weren't as strong because the tech wasn't there to fully represent them. Such really powerful overall stories and worlds in the Breath of Fire series, but the tech could never really show that off. Especially if you look at the art style, if they actually took the art, I can't remember what the artist's name is. I'll look it up, and if I find it, I'll let you guys know in one of my messages. But the art style from Breath of Fire 2, I mean 3 and 4, if they made a brand new next gen game with that kind of art style and really pushing on the story, wow, a day one purchase. If you guys don't know about the Breath of Fire series, check it out. I'm not a big fan of Dragon Quarter, but the rest of the series was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Another one, where is our Altered Beast? That was a hot game from playing it on the arcades, playing it on the consoles when I was younger. I know they did a remake or like a sequel, but it didn't do well. And I think a lot of it is they went for more for the action, like the Devil May Cry style action, and I think it kind of lends itself to that. But I think it could be a lot more with a stronger story, explaining how you transform and why you transform. A lot more connection to the characters and the plight that they have because they transform. If you haven't checked out the original, it's way back in the days. You may or may not know about it. Hot game. I think it has a lot of potential in this generation. It's one of my personal favorites. So another one, Alundra. I don't know if you guys know about that. The games like for me like Alundra and Beyond the Oasis from way back in the days. Those are the style games that will be great for this generation. They have a lot of personality. They will lend themselves to the technology that we have nowadays. They're super hot, love them to death. That kind of game we need to see more of, using our new art and our new technology, the graphical power. And there's a lot more they can do because of all the memory abilities, the space on these systems. Let's see, what else? Mega Man X. Oh my god, I love the series. I know that towards the end that they kept using reanimated sprites, the same kind of sprites, same animations, and then they tried to switch it up when they went to the 3D, but they just they semi-committed to 3D, and then they started to go back. I think if Mega Man X really wants to, that's a huge series. If they really wanted to bring it to next gen, they could. They just need to commit completely to 3D. Look at the other games in that space, like the Marios, not so much the Sonics, but look at other games that made the conversion from 2D to 3D and try to crack that nut. And I think Mega Man X would be a great series, just because there's so much mythology. I mean, they've got tons of worlds. I'm not even going to talk about the whole Mega Man universe or the Mega Man Online, but I think a full-on cinematic Mega Man X, maybe with some co-op, just you and X. Maybe even Axel. I wasn't a big fan of him, but he could be a character to get another player on, and I think that would really be awesome to have that kind of one person gets in close with Zero and using their saber, another person playing as X, firing at a distance. Great games. If you haven't checked them out, my personal favorite, Mega Man X4. Love that game. Monster at it. I'll slaughter that game any day of the week, especially with Zero. I'll bring it. But if you haven't checked it out, think about it if they took like that Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm engine and tweaked it for Mega Man X's art style. And not like anything after, like 4 was like I think the pinnacle of the art style. They took that art style and tweaked the engine of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storms, did that, especially now since Capcom and CyberConnect 2 are partnering. They could really push that. So that's hot. Another game from, they tried to bring back but wasn't too successful, Shinobi. We have Ninja Gaiden, and we've had Tenchu. But Shinobi was a huge franchise from my childhood. I liked, but their remake, I think it was on the PS2, just didn't do it, and they tried to do a sequel, and it was even worse. And I think it was just, they wanted to do so much and so much action. I don't think the tech could do it, and I don't think the design concepts were quite there yet at the time. I don't think we had enough experience with that 3D realm and the placement of the camera and how you track. I think there was too much happening all at once for them to track, and plus the jumping scenes, that like trying to run along walls and jump, it was a nightmare. It was so hard to do. I mean, had people cursing, had me cursing at my TV like no other. But I think that franchise would be great. Maybe mix in some like, you know, real stealth, some real action, push the engine, hot game. What else do we have out there that I really, really love and like to see more of? You know, what's the name of it? I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Air Guys. I know that they've got Dissidia. I would like to see that Air Guys, that kind of toe ball, the Unholy War style mechanic, where, you know, the screen's above you, but like the Power Stone, if you know what I'm talking about. These are games that, but Air Guys, you know, it had the Final Fantasy characters. It had its own roster as well. But the type of the above view camera, I forgot what it's called, 3/4 or whatever, where you could run anywhere, do anything, like just running up a wall, jumping around. I mean, you could flip off of stuff, grab people, and then if you hold like the guard mechanic, you could go into a strafe mode, which would take your combat mechanics and make them so much more in depth. Bringing that to the next generation, pushing it on these, like the PlayStation 3 and 360, would make it be phenomenal. So, if you haven't checked that game out, check it out. Especially, you know, like Toe Ball and Power Stone. Power Stone's a hot one. That would be awesome for Capcom to bring back and really push the PS3. Especially now since online has become so big. Being able to play like a campaign mode or like a story mode or arcade mode, whatever you want to call it, or versus mode, and they could do more than 4-on-4 because now the hardware's so powerful, online's so powerful. You could do 4-on-4, 8-on-8, big environments. You know, like they could have whole huge towns where you could fight off in different sections. If you don't know about Power Stone, you need to get on it. Dreamcast really blew it up. It came back. They did like a compilations, like a collections on, I think it was the PSP. Badass game. You need to check it out. So those are what I've got. I want to hear what you have to say. Tell me what are your hot games that you would like to see be remade. Yeah, that's it. Leave your comments below, of course. You know, you can always follow me on hiphopgamershow.com. You can follow me on Twitter at it's T_Hill0. Or if you want to send me a friend request and play with me on PSN, it's T-Hill. Alright, well, I want to give my shout out to 9th Gen Hero. That's my buddy. We play on Saturdays. Saturdays and Sundays, play Castle Crashers. If you want to join us, hit us up. And as always, hip hop. Keep doing your thing. Alright, I'm out. This is T Hill. Peace.